Good evening, everyone, and greetings from Great Oaks. My name is Chris Pinello. I oversee community relations on behalf of the whole district, and we are really delighted that you've joined us for, I think, is going to be a very informative hour. This is a live panel discussion, a live Q&A, and we're going to talk to several people who have real experience with Great Oaks and give you some very unique perspectives. So this is going to be, I think, a very informative time, and it's interactive, so we really want to get your questions as well. Joining me tonight are people who can directly share with you their experience and what it means to take advantage of Great Oaks career programs. And let's take a minute to have them each introduce themselves. I've got a few colleagues on the panel with me tonight. I'm going to start with Ann Toohey. Ann is our career specialist over at Scarlet Oaks. Ann, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Ann Toohey. I'm the current career specialist at Scarlet Oaks. We are the fun campus. I mean, all 4 of our campuses are fun, but we have 21, actually 22 next year programs on our campus. So most of all of our buildings, and I'm just excited to be here tonight.
And to be clear, career specialists are boots on the ground with each of our 4 campuses, and career specialists really help get students ready, prospective students ready for, and get them through the application process. And it is an involved process. We'll get into some of that later. I'm next going to introduce another one of our career specialists. Bill Davis is at our Laurel Oaks campus in Wilmington. Say hello, Bill.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm glad you're here tonight with us. I'm at the Laurel Oaks campus of Great Oaks, and that's in Wilmington, Ohio. So I've been here. This is my 32nd year with Great Oaks, and all here at the Laurel Oaks campus. So I'm glad you're here, and hopefully we can answer some questions and have a good time tonight.
Bill has been with Great Oaks a very long time. It's very, very great perspective there. I have one more colleague to introduce, and that is Erica Boggs. Erica's wearing a few different hats tonight, not literally, but not only is Erica a teacher at our Scarlet Oaks campus, and our instructor for cosmetology, but she's also a graduate of Great Oaks and a parent of a current Great Oaks student. Hello, Erica.
Hi. Yes, all of that is true. I am a Scarlet Oaks alumni, class of 2000. I am a current instructor in my first year of instruction in the cosmetology program. I have a daughter who actually graduated from Scarlet Oaks in 2019 from the culinary program. And I currently have a daughter who is a junior in the digital arts and design program.
I'm just saying I would be tempted to get a Great Oaks tattoo if I were that.
I probably should at this point.
Not that I'm advocating for that necessarily. It's great to have you with us, Erica. And I'm also going to introduce another parent, Molly Lotz, who was with us last year too and did such a great job. We asked her to come back again this year. Molly has a daughter who graduated from Laurel Oaks this past spring and has another daughter who has entered Laurel Oaks this fall. Molly, tell me about what's going on with your kids and say hello.
Yeah, I'm glad to be with you guys this evening. Thanks for having me. I appreciate that. So our oldest daughter, Audrey, attended the Laurel Oaks campus in Wilmington with the digital art and design program, and she graduated there this year. And she is currently at the Grand Canyon University studying for a graphic design degree, and she's really loving it and doing a great job out there. Our junior, Allison, is in the cosmetology program at Laurel Oaks, and she really loves it. So yeah, we're pretty excited for both of them.
It's a shame because there's nothing really visually inspiring about the Grand Canyon, so it must be
right. Right. It was the heat that brought her out there. That's for sure.
I hear you. And last but certainly not least, I am very pleased to introduce Luke Watson, who is a current student at Great Oaks at our Live Oaks campus. Luke, what's your homeschool?
I go to Loveland.
Okay. And what year are you?
I'll be a senior. I'm in the health tech program here at Live Oaks, but I'm entering my senior year.
Wonderful. And we're so grateful to have you here this evening to give us some of that student perspective. So that's really, really important. And I know that there are probably parents, prospective parents, and students online who are sort of interested in your take on everything. So, as I mentioned, tonight is interactive, and we want our viewers to ask questions and learn more. So, please feel free to post any questions you may feel have directly in that YouTube chat, or post them on social media using Ask Great Oaks. It's pretty easy to remember. Ask Great Oaks, or snap them to us on Snapchat. It's the @ Great Oaks, Ohio. And we will do our very best to answer those questions live for you this evening. Before we talk to our panel, I want to provide you with a quick overview of Great Oaks. There's going to be varying degrees of knowledge as far as what Great Oaks is, and I want to just give a very, very brief overview. And this is really a chance to discover more about what all the Great Oaks career campuses and career opportunities have to offer. So we're going to start up a little slideshow for you right now. You'll see commonly used with us this hashtag Discover Your Greatness. But to give you a sense of how enormous Great Oaks is, we are the largest career tech public district in the state of Ohio, and one of the largest in the country. We span 2,200 square miles. So you can see way up in Fayette County, all the way over to the Indiana border, and pretty far down south as well. We're in several counties. We partner with 36 different school districts. And actually, the panelists tonight are all over this Great Oaks territory. I think Molly's up in Fayette County. I'm here in Hamilton County. We've got representation from throughout the Great Oaks territory. We have 4 campuses. Diamond Oaks is over on the west side in Green Township. Laurel Oaks is up in Wilmington. Live Oaks, and you see a rendering there because that beautiful 4-story high front entryway is nearly completed, is in Milford. And then Scarlet Oaks, where we are this evening, is in Sharonville. So 4 campuses serving all 36 districts, and that we have students. There's obviously some campuses are closer to other homeschools, but there are certainly availability amongst our many programs if there's a student who wants to study at a campus that's farther away. And we're always happy to accommodate that. What is Great Oaks? It is, think of like an elective you have in high school on steroids. We offer what we call super electives. So you have to be on track to be graduating, but half of your school day is in one of these super elective labs. There's over 30 programs ranging from, we mentioned culinary and digital arts. We have we have health tech. There's going to be welding and auto tech and construction, heavy equipment, just a myriad programs available. Half of your school day is in that lab, and the other half is fulfilling your Ohio high school requirements. So that's essentially what the Great Oaks day looks like. And we can get into some of the particulars with our career specialists as well. But we are a high school. You don't actually graduate from Great Oaks. We work with our 36 districts. So your diplomas from your home school. Earlier, Luke mentioned he's from Loveland, so that his diploma would be from Loveland. But we partner and work very closely with all of our 36 affiliate school districts. Great Oaks is free. We are a public school district. So these amazing programs, and think about the quality of these labs. The reason that all of these districts got together, by the way, is because a single school district couldn't afford to have a robotics lab or these really high-tech auto labs, or even these digital arts labs are pretty spectacular. Renting heavy equipment to learn how to use a Caterpillar, all those things, when they get together and work together, can provide really state-of-the-art, top-notch equipment. And that's really the beauty of working with 36 districts together. And because it's public, there's no tuition. And as far as transportation goes, that's a common question. We can get into particulars later, but remember that your homeschool district will bus you to Great Oaks campus. So transportation is also covered for free. So it's free transportation and there's no tuition. There are actually no fees even. The only cost might be your uniform or well, really your uniform, maybe steel-toed shoes if you're in one of the high bay labs. But it is a service we do for the community, and it's actually a very vital part of our local economy and our region. Just wanted to share this very briefly. We do have strong academics and excellent labs, and this is even schools get report cards, right? This is our report card from the state of Ohio, where we have the highest rating. Great Oaks is an excellent school, all 4 campuses, outstanding instructors, both in academics and in our career tech areas. And we take a lot of pride in that and offer true, I say value, but it is really the taxpayers who support this. Again, the tuition is free, but we offer 4 very, very fine schools here. And we'll get into this a little later, but tomorrow is when applications open for our high school program. So we'll come back to the slideshow a little later, but that's where we are at the moment. And I wanted to start our questions with Luke. You bring Luke up, please. Luke, what was your first, before you ever visited a campus, what was your perception of what Great Oaks was? Let's say as a freshman or sophomore.
Yes, I definitely heard about Great Oaks. My teachers were talking about it and stuff. So I guess the main misconception about Great Oaks is like it's a school for kids who need more help or need more help to graduate or not on track to graduate. But that's far from the truth. Actually, Great Oaks helps kids with their academics and is strong pursuit with that. And I guess the second misconception was just like the transition from it not being a regular school day. But I've been able to get used to that schedule and the labs and the academics.
So describe your sort of first moment walking into one of the campuses and seeing the lab. What was your reaction?
So I was actually able to come visit on sophomore prep day. And I was able to do a private tour of those labs and stuff. And seeing my health tech lab, it was very cool to see the hands-on. And during that, we were still in our old lab because our school was obviously going through construction. So we were in our old lab, and that still had a lot of work to do. But we actually moved into our new lab towards the end of last year. So we've been able to use that more. But it's very hands-on. We have very simulated beds. And we have mannequins and we have an EKG machine and ultrasound and all of that stuff. So we can practice our skills throughout the day in the lab.
Yeah, I should mention Live Oaks has been under construction the last couple of years. It is nearly finished, and all of the learning spaces, all of the labs are done. So, and it's great. I had a chance to walk through the campus and see all those labs in action, and it is very, very impressive. Luke, why health tech and why Great Oaks?
So I chose Great Oaks because it was something different, something not traditional 4-year of high school. And I chose the health tech program is because I'm very interested in medical, all things medical, and helping people. And the health tech program at Live Oaks has definitely been able to jumpstart that for me and being able to work with other kids who have the same common interests and common goals as I do to work in the healthcare field.
And health tech is interesting because it really can be a launching point for so many different kinds of careers in the health industry. What are your long-term aspirations?
I actually got accepted to Cincinnati State with the help of the counselors and some of my teachers at Live Oaks. That's one of the nice things about Great Oaks is they have college readiness and they help you with the college essay scholarship. So I actually got accepted to the EMT program. So I'll be able to use some of my STNA skills and medical assisting skills to jumpstart some of those in my classes at Cincinnati State.
Well, that is fantastic. And it's just, and I love the spirit of giving back there too. What a vital role in society, and imagine all the people you'll be able to help. So well done, Luke.
Thank you.
Well done. And I think it's sort of really highlights, well, every journey is unique at Great Oaks. Luke's journey is unique to Luke, but you'll find that a lot of students sort of find that laser focus and are able to get that hands-on learning and really develop those skill sets, and they're graduating with credentials, and whether they're going on to college or advanced degrees, it really is extraordinary the things that they walk out of our campus with after just 2 years, a junior and senior year. Let's go to Molly. I want to talk from the parent perspective here for a moment. Um, Molly, what was your initial before any of the kiddos got to Great Oaks? What was your perception of Great Oaks as a parent?
Well, I would say that my initial perspective was when I was back in high school, over 25 years ago or something like that. And honestly, the perception wasn't a very positive one. When I was in high school, the Laurel Oaks or the Great Oaks schools were a place for kids that couldn't sit in a traditional school setting, a classroom setting all day long. Or whether it was true or not, it was my understanding that maybe kids that had behavioral issues went there. And so it also was a school system that really wasn't encouraging like going to college. And so my guidance counselors didn't really ever speak to me about that. I didn't really have it on my radar to ever take a look at Great Oaks as an option for me at that point in time. But before going in with Audrey, when Audrey was a freshman and a sophomore, my job was basically to try and open as many doors for her as possible, try and give her as many options to take a look at, whether they're good options or bad options. And so, she got to doodling quite a bit on her own as far as like art. Never had any really formal training at her school or anything like that. So we just looked at the digital art and design program. And I just remember when we first encountered the school, when we walked into the facility, I do remember it was in 2020, the winter of 2020. It was an open house. We were invited to come down and take a look at the programs, and she was interested in the digital art and design program. And when we entered the building, there was faculty and staff there that was very helpful in answering some general questions. We went into the digital art and design lab. We spoke with the lab instructor for probably well over an hour. He was very patient with us and very knowledgeable. And he answered a lot of questions we didn't even know we needed to ask. So that was kind of nice. I remember he had students during that open house that were there who were able to take Audrey off to the side herself. And she was able to kind of interact with them and talk on their level about what the program was like. Like Luke had mentioned, Audrey also went down on like a sophomore visitation day from her local high school, but she also went to Laurel Oaks on her own by herself one day, and she was able to sit in the lab with the juniors and the seniors all day and really get a good sense and a feel of what the campus was like down there on a day-to-day. And I really think that helped her a lot with anxieties of uncertainties about what it would be like to actually go down there. So that really helped her out a lot. I've had a lot of interactions over the last 2.5 years with the faculty and the staff there at Laurel Oaks, with the attendants, with the nurses. A big asset that I want to give a shout out to has been the guidance counselor's office. They have been a real big help about helping get together and talk about the best paths for our children. And they have been really good about answering questions by email or phone call, and Bill Davis has been really great too. He'll sort of kind of answer my questions or direct me to the person that I might need to get to. So really positive experiences. We were excited.
Thank you, Molly. I think there is really a terrific staff in place on all of our campuses with a true dedication to helping guide students on that pathway to success. I want to jump to Erica for a moment, just as a teacher and as a parent and as an alum, but as a teacher, what's it like with that mentor-mentee relationship with your students?
It's awesome. I have to always bounce back to my experience as a student for Great Oaks, because on so many levels, I can relate to what those feelings were like when the students first came to the program, because I remember my junior year, I can relate to the anxieties of senior year and trying to graduate and get licensed, because I can remember those times as well. So the mentor-mentee relationship is really awesome with my students.
And you think about our career tech instructors are with students for 2.5 hours a day. They might go on to work-based learning, especially during a senior year, but there's a lot of that interaction, and those relationships are really, really key and really, really important. We are getting lots of questions, which I love, and I want to get to some of those questions from everyone out there in YouTube land. And I'm going to ask our career specialists, of course, to help me answer these. Um, First, from Jamie Hall, we have what does the half day schedule look like, and is it 5 days a week? So the question about a half day schedule look like, and is it 5 days a week? So
Yeah.
I'll throw that one to Bill.
Yeah. So, I mean, students are here all day. Half of their day is spent in their lab. So 2.5 hours in their lab equal to 3 class periods, like at their high school. And then lunch in the second half of the day is their 4 academic classes. So that's the way they look. There are some cases, and they're all individual, if a student would do a half day with us in lab only and return to their high school or their homeschool, online school for their academics, but those are all individual case-by-case basis if that's able to work out. We're okay with that. It just has to work out with families and their schools. So that's what a day looks like.
And this is from Natalie Marsh. Can you switch programs mid-year if what you picked is not a good fit?
So I get this question a lot when I go out to homeschools and answer questions. And, we really work at the beginning to really, I guess, address that, picking a program initially. And we,
Right.
the exposure that we try to offer kids kind of starts with a presentation at their homeschool. And then oftentimes then it's our sophomore visit day where they, when we come out and give them information, and then they make a decision to come and tour 2 different programs at our sophomore visit day. We offer an open house. We offer some shadowing dates. They are, sometimes limited because we're really trying to save those for students who are trying to decide between 2 programs. And then we will meet with students, talk to parents, talk to students to really kind of do that pre-work with them. Because when you do get to our schools, if you're accepted and, you're in a program, our programs are 2 years long. All of them have, content and curriculum that are paced for 2 years. So if we have a student who's switching kind of in the midway of a semester, that gets really difficult to kind of line things back up with your academics and the lab. So we really try to, again, do that pre-work. Again, kind of like Bill said, we may have a case-to-case basis where that works mid-year, but it is very few and far between. We do offer kind of a 2-week window in those first 2 weeks to kind of make sure we're working through and students are placed correctly. And, if a student in those first 2 weeks maybe has had a change of heart or a change of situation, and it makes sense to move to another program, we try to do that. But typically students don't change their program mid-year. So
knowledge is power. And the more that you can get on campus and talk to instructors, the better. There's some questions about how does my son or daughter pick between 2 programs, so they might both be interested in both programs. Mm-hmm. We have time, and there's time to explore those. And there's time to come on campus and have shadow days. And mm-hmm. I think that we would want families to really spend as much time on the campus and explore as much as possible and talk to instructors as much as possible. Mm-hmm. It is a big decision. It's a big decision when you're deciding on a lab where you're dedicating that super elective half day, and completely understandable why there might be a little bit of trepidation, but we help through that process. And that really is where Bill and Ann, and if you're at Diamond Oaks, it'd be Laura, it'd be Jen if you're at Live Oaks, they can help walk through that process. Ultimately, we want students to be successful and in a place where they want to be. And there was another question here about how Great Oaks is different from a normal school day at another school. I think we sort of covered that, but just to reiterate, half of the day is in lab and the other half of the day is in academics. You think about a regular high school, students are in electives there too. They're just picking different kinds of electives throughout the day. But let me throw another question out at our career specialists. Do our students stay actively involved with their homeschools? Do they still do extracurricular activities? Bill, why don't you take that one?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that is something when I talk to students, I say, you name the sport or activity, somebody here does it. So people are here involved in their homeschool. They're students at their schools. They graduate from their school. Sports, marching band, drama, musical performances, every sport's represented. So yeah, you are still involved as much as you want to be at your homeschool. And you also get involved here in our activities with our career technical student organizations. We have like equal to a student council here on campuses. We have lots of activities here, but you are a student and you stay involved in your homeschool as much as you want to. Yes.
Maybe bring Luke up for a moment. Luke, do you want to speak to any extracurriculars you might be involved in or your friends are involved in at their homeschools?
I would say there's a lot of extracurriculars at Live Oaks. Recently, our JROTC got first place at nationals, and they 28 of the students were awarded full ride scholarships to any schools that they chose that fall into the category. So that's nice. We do have a lot of like after school activities that get mentioned, but it's definitely a very neat experience to have some Live Oaks clubs, and also have Loveland clubs. When you go to Live Oaks, you're not no longer a Loveland student, you're still a Loveland student. So you still go to prom. I'll still go to prom at Loveland, and Live Oaks also has a winter formal I'll go to this year.
Nice. And Luke, we had a question from Riley, and Riley wanted to know if you have to buy the scrubs that are the ones the school assigns, or can you pick out your own scrubs?
So the school does not assign scrubs, but the regular policy is for juniors. They wear royal blue or navy scrubs for junior year. And you can get those from any scrub store around here. They're pretty cheap. And then senior year comes around, you can wear any scrubs you want, any colors. That's just a little incentive for seniors. They can wear whatever scrub prints they want.
Showing some scrubs flair. I like that. I like that. But you have to earn it as a senior. So let's get to some more questions. What is the rough capacities of the different programs? Anne, why don't you take that one?
And I'm guessing capacity means like how many students are accepted to each program.
Yes.
So is that the question? And Eli,
Yes.
if I'm incorrect, but overall, most of the capacity labs are 25 students. We do have some offs of those. I don't know the best way to say it. We take a few more in our fire and EMT. We have multiple sections. I'm just speaking at Scarlet of our Health Academy and our cosmetology program. And then I believe it's similar at some of our other campuses where they may have, multiple sections of a certain lab, but 25 is typically what I tell students is our capacity.
And I think that's pretty consistent among programs. So there are some campuses will be running multiple labs of certain areas. So at Scarlet, for instance, there's 4 sections of health, right? So you have 100 per class there. Just recently in the news, there's such high demand for welding at Laurel Oaks that we're able to double that capacity starting next fall, thanks to some Ohio money coming forth. That's really going to be a game changer up at Laurel Oaks. We're also adding a law enforcement program there. One of the great things about Career Tech is that there's a real partnership between education and industry and business. So a lot of times it's about listening to what the needs are throughout the community, making sure we're up to date on all the equipment, but also where are people hiring? And there's actually a lot of jobs in welding. So we have to really actively work on meeting that demand. It is true that there are oversubscribed programs. So when I mentioned earlier that the applications open tomorrow, and then through February 6th is the window where everyone is treated equally. After February 6th is when we run what we call the lottery. Bill, describe what the lottery is for our viewers this evening.
Okay, so we look at we look at applications. As he said, it's not first come, first serve. We can't say that enough. Everybody through February 6th that applies is equal, as Chris said. So after February 6th, we look to make sure students are on track with their credits. Remember, you have to be up to date on your main core academics to attend. So once we determine who is on track, those students are then granted a lottery number across the district, a random number. So what happens to a program, if we have 25 spots and there are 23 on-track candidates at that program, they would all get a spot in that program. But what happens then is if I have a program like my welding and many others, I will have 50 or 60 qualified applicants who are on track for 25 spots. So then there was where that lottery number comes in. So they're placed in based on their lottery number. And then we place the students in, and then who doesn't get a spot initially is placed on the wait list in their lottery number order. Some students do accept a second choice and still wait for their first choice, which is an option if there's openings in their second choice. So that's the way the lottery works and a brief summary of it. And I always say if you have more in-depth questions, contact one of the career specialists at each of the campuses and we can go over that a little more with you.
I would say in an ideal world, we would want to have as much capacity to meet the first choice for every single student. But it would defy the laws of physics. We have only so much lab space. And while we're working on expanding some programs, there are going to be situations where a student is going to not get their first choice program. Let me say on behalf of Great Oaks, we will do our very, very best to accommodate that student, find another suitable program. And just thinking about welding, for instance, which is a wonderful program. It's offered on all 4 of our campuses. It's very popular on all 4 of our campuses. But there are welding is actually ingrained in part of several other high bay programs too. So students will get experience in welding. In fact, I saw a question and someone asking, it was Brianna asking if Scarlet Oaks has an automation and robotics program.
We do. It's called engineering and robotics. So it's, I would say, a play on that. So yes, we call it ETR, or engineering, technology, and robotics.
It's a very cool lab too, where students are just doing extraordinary, remarkable things. And I had the pleasure of helping give Jim Evers, who is a senior vice president at Intel, a tour of our Scarlet Oaks campus in the summer of last year. And he was sort of scouting what was available education-wise throughout the state of Ohio with this major investment Intel is making in our state. And he was very impressed with that lab. And I recall him saying that we were using state-of-the-art equipment that they were currently using at Intel. So students who are involved in those programs, I think, are really getting a leg up. So I have a question from Stephanie. What if students don't get placed in first or second spots via lottery? What are other options available for students? And why don't you tackle that one?
Well, I saw it kind of come across, and I thought, actually, and I'm gonna throw, hopefully not Erica, but in here because her daughter went through the process last year of applying, and she picked a program that was oversubscribed. We ran a lottery for it, and her daughter was placed on the wait list. And Erica did what many parents and students did from about second week of March when they got notifications to August. And Erica's daughter's situation, Emery, I apologize. It just kind of came up as I was thinking about August, and she knew her daughter really wanted to be in the program, but she had to, kind of wait it out and on our wait list. And eventually something did come open and her number came up, and I was able to, call Erica. And I didn't really know her at the time. She was a new colleague, and I was very excited because, the process took time to play out, but it did play out, and it worked. I mean, Emery got a spot, and I believe she's very happy in the digital arts program. So kind of to go back to that, like if they don't get in their first or second choice, they're placed on a wait list. And it's tough in this day and age with technology, and things are very instant. This is a very much an old school way. You're placed on a wait list, and some kids were accepted eventually, but other kids were out on the wait list, and it's tough. Kind of like Chris said, we just don't have space for everybody, and it was hard. It's really hard.
Erica, taking off your instructor hat and putting on your parent hat for a moment. What was that process like for you? You really your kid wants to get into this program. Just kind of relating to the people who are listening. What is it like as a parent?
It was a lot of me keeping Emery calm. She had made it up in her mind that she was going to Scarlet Oaks this year, and she was going to do welding, which is so interesting that we're talking about the welding program, because it was very, very much oversubscribed. It is very popular for this day and age. So she wanted to be in welding really badly, and I'm like, she's even trying to get me to pull strings as a teacher, and I'm like, hey, we don't do that. It has to be fair. If you get in, you get in, and if you don't, you don't. So as a parent, I had to prepare her for the fact that she may not get in, and what were our next steps? Like, what does it look like finishing at your homeschool? And then the flip side is, what does it look like if you decide to try a program that isn't as heavily subscribed to? And so she was already an AP art student at Princeton, her homeschool. And I'm like, well, you wanted to do welding, but you're such a great artist. Why don't you try the digital arts and design program? And it just so happened that the wait list was shorter. Her lottery number came up, and she was able to get in. So as a parent, I say, when your child is waiting, and then if they don't get their first choice, just sit down and have that conversation and say, hey, this isn't the end of the road. This, doesn't mean that you still can't be successful. Let's see what we can do. Maybe try a different program. And then you just kind of got to keep your fingers crossed.
It's interesting because Erica is a cosmetology instructor, which is also a very in demand, often pretty much always over subscribed program. Let's bring Molly in for a moment, because she has a daughter who entered cosmetology. Was that a first choice, I imagine, Molly?
It was, yes. And it was kind of stressful at our house too. She was dead set on doing cosmetology, and with the lottery, I was a little worried. But as a parent, I had to kind of reevaluate and decide, if cosmetology isn't something that she gets into, then, we have to take a step back, just like she had explained there, that we have to look at our options, realize that this is the way the world runs. Oftentimes things aren't always so smooth and run and happen exactly like you want it to happen. So it's a good learning tool for our students when they don't always get their way exactly like they want it. But it's also very challenging through those decisions and those conversations too. So we were very excited for Allison to get into cosmetology, and she loves it. So things are going well.
Yeah, and let me just emphasize that it's not always an easy process in that sense. The application itself is very easy, but again, with space limitations, we really do try to work with every family and try to find some accommodation, even if it's not a first choice. Bill, question from Andrea: do we have any programs that take sophomores?
So So currently there are no programs that take sophomores. So they have to wait until their junior year to be able to attend. I did see a question about what about if they're already a junior to come as a senior. If you don't mind, I'll go ahead and answer that while I'm here. Students can attend just for their senior year. That's space available. So 2-year students, so juniors or 2-year students have priority into a program. But if a program does not fill with 2-year students, after June 1st, we can place 1-year seniors into a program. Every program at the Laurel Oaks campus except cosmetology, which I'm sure cosmetology in every campus is that way, because that's a specific 2-year program for your cosmetology license. Other programs have the option for 1 year. You just won't be able to get everything that they offer, but you can get some certifications. So that answers kind of 2 of those I saw in there.
We had a couple of questions I'm noticing here. One from Jamie. What happens if a student changes their mind and wants to return to their homeschool after 1 year? And why don't you take that one?
Sure. Those situations definitely happen. I think a big thing I hear from a lot of juniors going to be seniors is they start to feel that deep junior or senior year offers a lot of exciting things, a lot of finality to your high school, actually your schooling career. And so sometimes kids really feel like they're missing out on that at their homeschool. So some kids, they go back for that reason, or there's other reasons, again, very much a case-by-case basis. It's not typical. Most kids stay for 2 years, but if a student changes their mind or something happens, our campuses really work hard with the families and the student if that's the case. We are working with homeschools, like Chris said, 36, and every school has their own policies. Every homeschool does on allowing students to return and different things like that. So it's always best. I always encourage parents, make sure you're having those conversations with your homeschool about what their policies are and their procedures are for return, because we want to make sure, I think number one is that the return makes sense and that it doesn't affect graduation status and things like that. To answer Jamie's question, we'll work with you guys, but it's always best to maybe ask that question before your child is, applying or accepted or is enrolled in our programs, kind of what their policies are.
Okay. We were going to delight you with some sizzle reels showing some of the programs in action, but those are all available on our Facebook page and our website. I think that I want to sort of keep the questions coming and answering those questions while we have this fantastic panel together, if that's okay with everyone. Again, the sizzle reels, I kind of give aerial views of some of our programs. It's neat. They're all on Facebook. They're also on our website, so you can check those out there. I wanted to get to another question I saw here, which was from Tommy, wondering if your child is missing a lot of school, is there a possibility they will get sent back to their home school? Bill, why don't you take that?
Yes. So, I'm just going to say that is a possibility. If students are missing a lot of school and missing a lot of the work in their lab and their academics, part of that is if they can't pass their lab and pass what they need, then they can't get enough credits here. We don't have enough periods in the day. They'll need to go back to their high school, just to be honest. And some programs like cosmetology, for example, aviation at our campus and Diamond Oaks, there are strict hour requirements. So if you're missing too many hours, you can't even sit for a test to even get your license or your certification. So we work with students. If there's a situation, a medical condition, something that comes up, we want kids to be here and be successful. But if it's just a student just missing school, then that is a possibility where could be sent back to their high school because they can't complete their program. So
think about some of our labs are so focused on hands-on learning. And part of that is learning the safety protocols and and there's a lot of intricate work we get into, machining, and so missing school, you're missing a whole lot. So I think that it's school. There's an expectation that students are there and receiving information from these fantastic instructors and progressing. So I think that's a perfectly fair question about transportation. I'm going to throw this to you, Anne.
Sure.
If the question is from Jamie, and is transportation provided between schools and home? We talked about school to school, but how does that work for a student who's currently taking the bus to their school?
So it's typically school to school. Now some schools then will, it's truly school dependent. Some of them, they'll get on the bus at their home school. Their home school will communicate, hey, this is where, we're meeting or picking you up, or again, 36 different schools, they all kind of have their own thing. Now, if you're a direct feeder to our different campuses, and we can kind of talk a little bit more about what that means, there is transportation from school to school. If you are looking at maybe you're a student who, I'm trying not to get in the weeds with this, but it does get confusing. And Bill, if you want to jump in, because you're kind of the pro on this, but if you're typically a student who feeds into a Scarlet school, but you're looking at maybe a program at Diamond or Live or Laurel, we do offer some shuttles between the two as well. So Bill, what am I missing out on here on transportation?
So I will say, I know all the schools, the Laurel Oaks campus, I know most others, they'll pick, just like you get to your high school, how you normally get to your high school. So whether you ride, drive, walk, or ride the bus, and then they transport students from the high school to us and shuttle them over to one of our campuses. And at the end of the day, they shuttle them back. I know some students ride elementary routes home because it's a later time. But high schools, each school, all 36, will handle that separately, as Ann said. So we can't speak for all of them, but they do transport, I say door to door from your house to school and back. And then the shuttle service we do provide between our campuses. Some of that is you must be able to get to one of our campuses to catch that shuttle. Some schools will provide transportation early in the morning, some won't. For example, I will tell you there's a shuttle that leaves Laurel Oaks at 6:15 in the morning and goes down to Live Oaks and then Scarlet Oaks. And then at the end of the day, it returns in the same route and gets back about 3:45 every day. And those students have to get home. And once again, some schools pick them up. That's a school by school basis, but that is available. That's we're at the will of the home schools with their transportation, but they do all do a great job of getting their students to school. I will say that.
It sort of reaffirms the idea that every journey is unique.
Yes.
From start to finish.
Yeah, a lot is very dependent on those individual circumstances. I want to bring Erica back in because I'm just thinking about career tech and sort of unique things about career tech, Erica. How do you and your fellow career tech instructors support students with job placement, both during high school, because we do have work-based learning, but also sort of looking at that post-graduation and with their credentials, where do they go from Great Oaks?
Okay, so we often bring in presenters that offer students job opportunities when they come in, and they'll speak about their companies, and they'll also work on a skill with the students. We also pull a lot from our industry knowledge and our years being industry. We'll pull from who we know and develop a list of people that the students could potentially work for. We also have what's called a BIAC, which is a Business Industry Advisory Council. Every program has one, and they're filled with industry people who keep us updated on what the people in the industry are looking for in the workforce from our students coming out. So that also helps us to build relationships with students and potential employers as well. Also, as far as the cosmetology program specifically is concerned, you have to have 1,500 hours per the Ohio State Board of Cosmetology and Barbering. So when you're halfway through our program, which is the 750-hour mark, which typically juniors reach that by the end of the second semester or fourth quarter, you go to an internship. And a lot of times for students, those internships translate into permanent positions as well.
Erica, can you earn money on those internships?
No, not as a student, you're not earning money. So we don't want students to go in with the expectation that that's what's going to take place. You are going there to do learning in a real world environment, and those learning credits go toward your hours for the program. So you are allowed to accumulate 300 hours towards your 1,500 hours doing your summer internships. But no, the idea is not for you to get paid doing that.
That's not universally true for all programs. Bill, there are some work-based learning opportunities that do pay, right?
Yeah. Cosmetology is unique in that because they can't get paid until they have their license, correct?
Yes.
I mean, that's my understanding. So yes,
Yes, that's
they're a
correct.
little more strict on that. But our other programs, our students do work-based learning, and they are getting paid in the field. I mean, we have heavy equipment students making above prevailing wage right now. Seniors in high school making over $36 an hour, working in the field right now. Just incredible. And that's not every student, but when they do job placement, except cosmetology, because it's interning, they do earn money in those job placements.
So we have a question from Twitter, which is now X. I call it the artist formerly known as Twitter. And that was about certifications you can earn. What are some of those, and what do those gain you? So talk about credentials and certifications. I'm going to throw that one to Ann.
Well, there's a lot, and I feel like that's a pretty, I could speak to all the ones at Scarlet. Some that I just maybe want to highlight, certification wise, you know, at the very basic level, a lot of our programs offer a CPR. They do some OSHA training again, across many of our programs. I apologize. I just saw a question. There was someone who was asking about heavy equipment operations. That is a program that is offered on Laurel and Lives campus. And they also asked, they heard it's coming to Scarlet. It's already here. We ran it this year. Those students are getting ready to, I'm not exactly sure what certifications they're earning. That would probably be a Bill question because it has been at Laurel and Live for a while. Scarlet is new this year. We've got kids who are earning an STNA, which is a state tested nursing assistant's license. Actually, our Scarlet students were testing for it today. And when I tell you, I was, my heart was kind of in my chest for them because, you know, they're working on their skills and showing off the skills they've learned. They take a written portion. There was a holding area for the kids where they're waiting to, you know, take their turn. That was pretty powerful. Just to watch that all going down today, testing wise. You know, we've talked a lot about cosmetology. You've heard students can get their cosmetology license. I have some students, and I just kind of wanted to put that plug in when we're talking about, you know, internships or work-based learning. They're called all kinds of things. I have a student who is in the electric program and has been out on placement since first semester of his junior year. He is a unique situation, but he works for FC Cincinnati at their games and works on their electrical circuits if something goes wrong and is paid to do it.
If the other team's about to score a goal, the lights go out. It's weird.
And my student we joke about it because he gets to sit in a suite, a box. He gets to eat the yummy free food. He gets to enjoy a soccer game. And then if something goes wrong, he's in charge of fixing it, which is
a hard knock life.
Yeah, exactly. I know I missed some certifications. There are a lot. Bill, did I hit, you know, I defer to Bill because he is 32 years here at Great Oaks. That's almost.
He has all the certifications. It's amazing.
Yeah, there are a lot of, I mean, every program has certifications. I mean, what adults are paying for to take, they're getting for free here in high school. And they stay with you. Once you earn that, that's yours. I mean, American Welding Society certified welder and Our aviation maintenance students, they can get their full A&P license, aircraft mechanic license.
And the district is paying for those credentials.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you're in this tuition-free high school program, that if you're over 18 and in the adult world, you're going to get these certifications or credentials, you have to pay for them. But if you're with Great Oaks, the district is actually paying for you to get those.
Yes.
Pretty extraordinary opportunity. A question from Kenneth: what percentage of students in general enter the workforce after graduation versus them pursuing further education in their chosen area of specialty or otherwise? It's interesting because we always talk about every journey being unique, and we do have students who go on to college and even certainly postgraduate work, and some students go straight into the work field. I don't have that number off the top of my head. Bill, do you have that number?
The last few years, the number they've been saying, we're about 50% of students are pursuing, I think it was 52, 48 one year, right around that 50% actually then go on to pursue a 2 or 4 year degree beyond Great Oaks. Now, I will say, as you talk about going to work, because a lot of them are then using what they studied at the college level or to work to help pay their way through college. Many of our health students get hired by a hospital, and then they pay their way to get their RN license and become an RN. So we have a student at University of Dayton from our heavy equipment program in engineering that his company is paying for his engineering degree at University of Dayton. These are things that, employers are paying. So they're doing both, most students.
We have a question from Jared: how many animal programs does Great Oaks have? I can answer that quickly. We have equine science, we have animal science, and we have veterinary assisting. I think that's all of them, I think. Equines at 2 of our campuses, Laurel and Diamond, and you'll find animal science and veterinary assisting kind of scattered among the other all 4 campuses. They don't all have all 3 of those programs, but it's certainly spelled out on our website and in the catalog. But lots of opportunities with animals. Actually, one of the things I love about visiting our campuses is seeing the sort of variety of animals and different kind of care that our students are learning, and even have veterinary surgeons coming in, and students are assisting with spaying and neutering, and just lots of interesting things happening. And I think last time I checked, we have 36 horses at Diamond Oaks. Lots of great learning happening around animals and helping with those industries. We have a question from Mario: if you do a program that requires physical strength training, firefighting, etc., is that something you do on your own time or something that the school provides? So maybe I'll throw this one to Anne, since firefighting is currently available at Scarlet Oaks. Anne, what's the story there?
They do all the training on site. So at any given day or time, especially when it's nice out, someone is working our fire and EMT and possibly our law students out in some kind of physical activities. Our exercise science students often create their workout plans as well, or the military will come in and train our fire and EMT students. So that physical strength and strength training is all provided to our students on site. Now, if kids want to do stuff on their own as well, they can, but we do provide that physical training.
And bringing Luke into the conversation, Luke, with health tech at Live Oaks, are there any kind of unique requirements that maybe you weren't expecting when you first came in? Because I know that health tech actually requires a lot of physicality as well, right?
Yeah, I don't think there were any physical requirements. I guess a lot of patience just with the lab in general, and just being able to work with people and work with the older population. We do a lot with geriatrics. A lot of my classmates are working in nursing homes. That's through the STNA, State Tested Nurses Aid. So a lot of them go in placement to work in nursing homes, and some of them work in hospitals. But
so, and you mentioned you want to become an EMT, and you've already been accepted into college. What is that track to becoming an EMT? So you're going to graduate this year, officially from Loveland High School, but with your career passport from Live Oaks. And then you're going to enter college. What's next for you?
So the nice thing with going to Great Oaks is I have some of my college classes already done that I need for Cincinnati State, which is nice. We offer CCP at Great Oaks, but I would start my 3-month program at the EMT.
CCP, just to interrupt you for a moment, CCP, for those who don't know, is College Credit Plus. So you're getting college credit, taking really college courses while you're in high school, but they're being paid for. So you're not actually able to pay for those college credits, correct?
Yep. We partner with St. Clair for at least for Live Oaks. And then, so I would start my three-month EMT program, and then I'll transition to the full year paramedic program once my 3 months are done through Cincinnati State.
Awesome. It's kind of the trajectory is lined up. Every journey is unique. We're hearing about what Luke's journey looks like, which is pretty extraordinary. I see that we are at time. Am I right, Katie? We should talk about a couple of things to close. One of them is you can hear us talk ad nauseum about how wonderful Great Oaks and the experience is, but you really should come to campus. And we have open houses that are coming up. We have a slide, I think, showing what those open house dates are for all 4 campuses. I'll get us there right here. Let's talk about our career specialists first. So you've been hearing the wise words of Bill Davis and, of course, Ann Tui this evening, who have been so kind to join our panel. We also have Laura at Diamond Oaks and Jen at Live Oaks. These are trained professionals. They care about your kids. They want to help them on their way to success. So you see their phone numbers and their email addresses here. It's also on the back of our catalogs, and it's on our website. I encourage you to reach out to them. They are a wonderful resource. And again, they are here to help walk our families through the application process, deciding on those labs. And we talked a little bit earlier about the lottery process and sometimes oversubscribed programs. They will help you through all of that. And I also wanted to mention our open house dates. So we have Diamond Oaks coming up on the 25th. We actually have 2 on the 25th, Diamond Oaks and Laurel Oaks. Live Oaks on February 1st, and you'll see Scarlet Oaks there on January 24th. These are great opportunities to get in and talk to instructors, see the labs in action. There's even BIAC members present. Erica was mentioning our Business and Industry Advisory Council members, talking about why the program is meaningful, how it's updated, how the curriculum has been informed by real world workforce needs. So these are really wonderful opportunities. We also have the sophomore visits, and then there's shadow days available. I really, really encourage everyone to have a look at Great Oaks. If you can get to more than one campus, please get to more than one campus. The facilities are top notch. These are really, really great facilities. Just wrapping up, there's a couple questions at Scarlet Oaks. Is there a game design program? Ann, do you want to take that real quick?
We actually do. We have changed the name of our game design program. It is no longer, that's a piece of it, but a very small piece. It's now coding and web design. So if your child, is interested in that gaming world, I would say that a very small piece of the program is about gaming. It more follows web applications and web design and then coding.
Great. And Aaron had a question. Are there advantages to graduating from Great Oaks for students that want to attend a traditional 4-year college, or does the program more often lead to specific vocations that are studied at Great Oaks? It's going to range on the programs. There's over 30 different programs available for high schoolers through Great Oaks. And as Bill mentioned earlier, we have quite a few students, more than half often, we're going on to post-secondary education, either 2-year or 4-year, or even going on to advanced degrees. I remember my very first senior ceremony I attended, it was 2 on the same day. It was Diamond Oaks and Scarlet Oaks, and 2 different student speakers. One was very much on track to become a nurse practitioner and working in the medical field all the way through getting that advanced degree. The other one was a young man who was had just finished the construction program and was looking forward to starting a business, building decks. And he talked about the freedom he was looking for and the craftsmanship he took pride in. Every single journey is unique. Both of those young people were outstanding in their own way and were looking at, I think, successful trajectories, but again, very different pathways. So I think that it kind of depends on the program that you're looking at. And again, I think our career specialists can help with some guidance there as well. I think that we really are over time at this point, but I very much appreciate everyone who has joined us this evening. We're available to answer more questions. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm an easy person to find, and certainly our career specialists. You'll see that our website there is a ticker. We're going to show some stock prices too, but greatoaks.com. And we showed you the contact information for our career specialists. A reminder that applications are available starting tomorrow. There is no advantage to applying tomorrow versus February 6th. Everything is the same within that window. If you have any trouble with the application, please let us know that as well. Please come for a visit. We look forward to meeting all of our prospective students. We want you all to also meet the instructors. Great Oaks has a lot to offer the community. It's where people truly do discover their greatness. And I want to thank you on behalf of all of our panel. Thank you to our panel for being involved with us this evening and helping answer the questions. But we're looking forward to seeing you visit our campus. And on behalf of Great Oaks, thank you for joining us.